want you to make your own minds up about this, because I want you to understand the lifestyle that my son and his mother had between the years of 2012 and 2022. I need you to understand that when I say this system is broken, it's so broken because I've said all along, if my child can be taken, any dad's child in the world can be taken. Let me explain to you the lifestyle of my son and his mother for the 10 years that they were in my life. Let's not forget that, 10 years. So we met in 2012. She lived in Worcester with her family up there, and I was in London. She said, "Blimey, you're noisy." Anyway, we had a nice couple of dates. I used to go up to Worcester for a year, and she would come down to me for a year. She also had 2 children already in Worcester. Now, a year and a half into our relationship, them children were, say, 10 and 6. She said, "I want to come to London and live with you." Now, that's fine. And obviously before that, I was a stepdad. So I said to her, "Listen, we got the nice house, had a lovely house. Bring the kids down and do what you got to do." She decided to leave the kids in Worcester with the father and move down to live with me. That was her decision. She's always said that was a selfless decision because all of the children's friends and education was in Worcester. She then decided to move down with me and has always said it was a selfless act on her behalf, on behalf of her children. Then she would go up maybe once every month to go and see them 2 children. Sometimes with me and sometimes not. She then lived in my apartment, and after she got pregnant, we decided to rent a nice house. Luckily, one of the fathers that I knew had a beautiful home that was on the market for about 900,000, and he was happy to rent that to me for a couple of G a month, which was amazing. And that's what we did. We moved in there, had my son, who was born on the 1st of August 2012, and we had the most amazing, lovely house, and we lived together in that house till we were 2015, when my son was 3, about to start school. Now, up until that time, this is how I live. She is the mother of my son. She's amazing, and I work hard and pay everything. That's just how it is. She has a sort of a coffee morning lifestyle. She can drop my son off to school, and I understand how hard it is being a mum, and I respect the fact that, you know, picking kids up, so getting them ready, homework, it all takes time anyway. So she's never worked, and she's always had everything looked after for her. My son then starts school in 2015. She chooses a private school in Gerrard's Cross. Lovely school. That school is £2,000 a month. It was about 1,500 a month when he started, and it goes up every year. But you know what? I thought to myself, Deano, you're now a daddy. Your son's everything. And if his education is 1,500 quid a month, just work harder. And that's what I did. And my son remained in that school till the 15th of April 2022. His education on the 15th of April 2022 cost me £143,000, but I don't care. My son's had a wonderful education. He was loved by that school, and as parents we were loved. In fact, I'll tell you something else. When he started that school, my son's mother went on the school WhatsApp group, and we decided there's no point both being on it. She just needs to let me know what's going on. And for 7 years, right up to the 15th of April 2022, she would WhatsApp me what event Boyce is in, what assembly, what time this is, what time, and we would always meet outside the school and then go in together. And we did that right up until the 15th of April 2022. We were loved parents. We never missed anything my son was in 7 years. He was our total priority. I've done videos on it. I've even put it on my channel here. You know, that matter how busy I was. If Boyce had a football match at 2:30, that's where I was going to be. Anyway, this continued 7 years. Now, let's look at her lifestyle. She was living in £1 million home, which costing me £2,000 a month. I've then got my son's school fees. On top of that, I paid all of her bills. On top of that, I also gave her £1,400 a month just to have her own independence. She can do her hair and her nails, and that money was just for her to love her life. And on top of that, I paid everything else that comes up during life. You know, you go out for dinners and things that pop up. So let's say her and my son was averaging me $7,000 a month alone. I worked hard every month for 10 years to make sure her and my son had an amazing life. In 2015, at the end of 2015, me and my son's mother, I went home. She actually got me a puppy for Father's Day, and that puppy stressed her right out. I said to her, the problem is you're getting me a puppy, but I work every day. So she then had to walk it. She's not really a Wellington's girl. She was more hair and beauty, high heels. So after 7 months, she sort of stressed herself out. She was suffering a lot of anxiety. And in 2015, I said, look, why don't I just get a little apartment up the road, literally one road away. And I just want you to chill out for 6 months and breathe and just be well and happy. And that's exactly what happened. The thing is, I stayed in that flat till the 15th of April 2022. Because it worked well. Even though we decided that we were not going to live together, as far as everybody else knew, we were still together. That was just how we lived. She was very, very respectful. A magnificent mother, told me everything about my son, involved me in every part of my son's life. And then every Saturday and Sunday we'd go and watch my son play football. My son would stay over with me Friday nights, Saturday nights. And on a Tuesday and a Thursday I would go round after school, sit there. So we sort of had a lovely system where my son saw me pretty much 5 days a week and spoke to me every day. And me and his mum went to everything together. So my son was totally supported up to the 15th of April 2022. Her alone and my son's expenses over them 10 years works out at about £1.7 million. Plus the school fee. So do you know what? She had the most magnificent 10 years. We were loved as a family. No issues ever. Loved by neighbours, friends, the shopkeepers, everybody. And she had a wonderful lifestyle. And on the 15th of April 2022, her and my son were meant to be moving back to the house that had been refurbished for them. And instead, she made a false allegation, had me arrested, smashing through a door. That never happened, as I already told you in previous videos, proved not guilty. And since that day, I've never heard, seen or spoke to my son, nor has anyone in her family. Since that day, she has claimed utter fear from nowhere, just written on paper. And the courts and Kafkas have accepted that fear to the point that in the final court case, in court, when the contact centre option was mentioned, her team of solicitors and her full legal aid team argued that her and my son would be petrified even if police were present. Where this fear has come from is completely made up. And yet the system completely accepts it. And I was told that I can write my son a letter once a month. That's my contact. To a P.O. box of the mother's choosing. And when in court, I said, hang on a minute, you've stolen my son. You're now saying I can't see, speak or cuddle my son. And now you're saying I can send a letter to my son to a P.O. box of the mother's choosing. So what stops her taking that letter from the P.O. box, ripping it up and putting it in the bin? And the court said to me, there's nothing we can do about that, Mr. Dean. You can write your son a letter, and we're being generous to say once a month. So I've had my son stolen. They now think I'm going to be writing letters to P.O. boxes you can throw in the bin. It's pathetic. And you know, my son knows how much I loved him, and my son knows he was stolen out of my life. That's the reality. And 2 years, 4 months later, no human in my son's life has heard, seen or spoken to him ever again. She has taken him out of school and homeschooled him now as well. So I can't have any information on his education or health. If I ring the police for a welfare check in Worcester, they say they don't have to because he's with the mother. There's dads walking the coastline emphasising. There's dads crying on here because their children have been ripped from their lives. I'll go on any TV show, speak to any politician about this. This is abuse of fathers on a daily basis and must be stopped.
If you like Deano stories and you want more, and you've got stories of your own that you want told, get in contact. and we can sort something out.